Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, so I think we probably should look at a little bit more of the spectrum of parasites or entities that like are feeding off of you, probably unconsciously. Let's go to the unconscious realm of the feed, because a lot of times people are like, why is this person still in my energy? Because I don't want them there. I know they don't want me there. What is going on? So, and it's not you or even sometimes them. So this is the other side of the spectrum where you didn't willingly fall for Dracula's death trap. Okay, you didn't willingly do that over there on that side. Whereas maybe you like had this relationship, it ended for various reasons. Doesn't even matter if it was good, bad, or indifferent. It just ended, and now you're like stuck in this space of like, what? And it doesn't have to be seriously romantical. It could be business. It could be, sometimes you need to cut family off. Sometimes you need to cut friendships off. All this other weird stuff. Church people, cult people. Not that there's a difference. Okay, so when we have this like, okay, I know I'm finished with them. What is going on? Why is this still in my realm of realms, right? Why is it here? So then you ask yourself, how am I feeding this? How am I feeding it? Because a lot of times that's what's happening, is you're the one who's feeding it because it's not going away. And and it is a signature that they're feeding it too, because when you have relationships with people, we like to pretend that, oh, it meant nothing, oh, it did nothing. It's an energetic exchange. We're leaving imprints on each other's lives, whether we want to or not, whether we like it or not, blah 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 blah. Those imprints last sometimes for a lifetime. And if it's, if you can make it count, if you can make it good, that's awesome. But a lot of times you're trying to make it good and then you end up having to sever the tie. Sorry, I'm having like an allergy morning. It has nothing to do with the delicious coffee I'm drinking right now. So when we can sever those ties in a meaningful manner, aside from just cord cutting rituals, because that's one thing you can do, but you have to do it after you're all finished. Like, you get all their stuff out of your energy, you get all the like the letters they wrote you burned or thrown away or shredded or and out of your dwelling space. Dang. Okay. Out of the realm of where you are residing, right? You block them on all the things, and you do not have one of those weird apps where you get to go check your junk mail or your text messages or whatever it is, right? Don't have one of those. I had to watch a girlfriend go through that, where she had one of those apps where she had text messages and emails that she had blocked, and she would check them, and I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. So that's number one. You have to vet all the things out of your environment. And that means like out of your environment. Okay. Let them leave the lesson, but the rest of it goes, right? Cherish the memories, and what's his face? Leave out all the rest. Leave out all the rest. Leave it out. Because number one, it's not yours. So stop carrying it around. Number two, if it is draining your energy, it's causing you emotional distress, it's causing you mental anguish, it's why would you hold on to that? That's ludicrous. Just Stop holding on to it. Okay? Then you have your habitual patterns that you kind of have throughout, your relationship with that person or those people or whatever it is, where you were giving already. So you're already in the giving state. You're already in the I am open, my energy gates are open, and whatever else. So those energetic patterns need to be closed. So those sacred gates need to, need to be closed to those people. Okay, so however you want to envision that, however you want to mentally do that, but it might need to be like a 21-day thing where you envision those people, places, whatever it is, and just put the guardrails up and say, nope, I'm finished feeding this. Bring it into your consciousness. I'm finished feeding these people my energy, whatever energy it was. Okay, finished feeding those people. All finished. Okay, and then return that love and energy to yourself. I know. Listen here, lady. You've crossed the line. Okay. Return that love and energy to yourself. Do I need to twist the knife? Fine. You're worthy and you deserve it. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. So return that energy to return it to yourself. Okay. It's really important because that is going to be your little spark, your little pep in the step. It's going to be wow, that does feel really good. My love is delicioso. This is awesome. Okay, so you need to remember that, yeah, okay, all right, fine. Okay, you need to do that for yourself. And then there is a psychic, telepathic, instinctual pattern. This is the primal that's more difficult to get rid of. Yes, I just called telepathy primal. Want to fight about it? Okay. So, so that, we need to do some more stuff. Okay. So those psychic just means soul. Okay. It's not like, hey, I'm going to predict the future. What do psychics usually do again? Oh yeah, talking to dead people. I didn't tell you this much. There's only so many people who are allowed to hear what dead people have to say, and if you tell too many people what dead people have to say, you lose your gifts. You lose the ability. This is not a one size fits all, kids. Stop dicking around. Okay. So when we have that instinctual, telepathic, primal energy flowing through us, we don't get rid of that. It's practically the source of life. Okay, it is 6 feet, energetic, magnetic, electromagnetic field, whatever it is. Okay, that's where all that stuff exists. Okay, the psychic, the telepathic, the primal, all exists in that field. Okay, and that encompasses a lot of life. Okay, that's if you're going to work with alchemy, you work with those 3 things. Energetically in the body, anyway. Okay. So, sorry, my cat just jumped up there and my tree started shaking. Okay, so when you are in that space, this is where it gets a little trickier if you're not used to maneuvering and tapping into and kind of sifting. I want to say sifting is the right word. Possibly. This is where like the quiet moments when you wake in the morning or the quiet moments when you go to sleep at night. Those are those entities, the telepathy, the psychic, the primordial comes in because your DMT is kind of like in its flux. And so I should probably stop handling that stone so much. I really like it, but we're just gonna put it up there. Okay. So when we are in those states, we need to be very diligent. We need to be expressive in those states. A lot of times everybody's like, just shut the fuck up and witness. That's not good advice. You are literally activating your life. Shutting the fuck up is not a good idea. You can witness at first, but then you're going to need to say, okay, I see this, I acknowledge this about my psyche, about my whatever, my energetic field, and I realize that this is still happening in the dream state. In the, like, when I leave my body, I'm engaging with this energy. So my spirit, soul, whatever, we're not talking about that another day, but it's still engaging, and that you'll get through that through the dream time, the downloads, or whatever. You're still engaging in those energies. So then you go back and you say, okay, that's nice and all, but you need to leave, and I am my own sovereign person. Whatever lessons we need to learn will be brought to us in a different way. However we need to move forward in life for our best interest is going to be in solitude from one another. We're not going to move forward. We are separate from one another. And then it can come back to where, like, okay, I said separate, and now we're like still, like, you know, we're in separate buildings on separate balconies, you know, all this other stuff. Everything's separate, but we can still see. And we can still send each other things via that. And it's like, now what? So when you have these functions that are frustrating, upsetting, or whatever else, you just need to say, okay, I asked for separateness. We got separateness down. Okay, now what do we need? We need to learn the lesson. We need to stop the psychic messages, the intuitive, telepathic, just cut the cord. Okay. And that often comes with some sort of lesson. And that lesson can be, okay, you have an excess of what I have, and I have an excess that you want. So there's something that can be exchanged there, but needs to be exchanged with Six of Pentacles in mind, equal give and take, because a lot of times people get overzealous and greedy, and then it's really easy, you know, kind of like the internet, to not see the other person. And especially when, you know, the other person could or couldn't be involved in certain mentalities that are not, not really in a ethical way, I guess you could say. So if you're, you know, just online, or, you know, you met at a whatever one day and then you just remained connected and you don't know a whole lot about that person, don't feel in to understand. Don't do that, because then they're going to have to engage, and that's just going to feed and make the thing stronger. So if you understand, you're standing under. Don't do that. Okay? You don't need to understand the person. What you need to ask for, not even from the other person, just from the universe, just say, okay, I see this, I acknowledge this, it's fine, but I am ready to be finished with this particular energetic witnessing, exchange, parasitic, whatever it is for you, whatever you know, way on the spectrum it falls. Okay. And a lot of times it, you know, if it continues for too long, that person will start to be depleted in return, because there's only so far you can stretch a thing, and then it needs to bounce back. I didn't make the rules. But there are 5 layers of law that you probably want to get a little familiar with. But for right now, we're talking about how we cut off these ties, okay? So the 3rd level is the psyche, and that's going to start coming online, literally online, like, on the internets, through the liquid crystalline we are addicted to. It's going to start becoming a realization that, like, those things exist. We all have access. It's not for the extremely gifted. It's not a mental illness. It's not a this, that, and the other thing. So yeah, I would venture to say a lot of toxic narratives that are, in direct correlation with people suffering tremendously on the planet, are about to click it. And I don't mean seatbelt. So when we can understand that, we already have access to those things when we wake and when we fall asleep, just set your intent. When you fall into your bed at night and you can feel that, that yum yum come over you, and you can, if you don't feel the yum yum come over you, how do you fall asleep? Okay, all right. So set the intent to feel the yum yum, because it's delicious. Set the intent to feel the yum yums, okay, of the sleepy buys. Okay, get yourself to sleep like a baby in a cradle. Okay, when you set the intent to feel, witness, whatever, yada yada yada. Now, if you have this weird conceived notion that you don't have access to that, if you're falling asleep, you have access to it. Okay, so when you have that window of opportunity, you set your intent. Say, I want to, sometimes when we're not sleeping good, like, Uranus is about to enter Gemini. Excuse me while I don't get enthusiastic about how that's going to be. Okay, so when you are in that lovely little yum yum state, okay, an entire band has been fucking dedicated to this state, okay? This lovely state of, okay, I'm about to drift off into dream time. I would like to please blah 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 blah. Now, if you're having problems sleeping and your body's exhausted, your mind's exhausted, blah 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 blah, instruct, don't ask, I'm sorry, say, I am going to sleep and let my body rest. I want to refrain from any outside activity. I want my body and my mind and my spirit and my soul to get a full night's rest. That's what you want. Don't say what you don't want, because the universe talks different than we do, and this is why language is falling off. We screwed the language so freaking hard. The universe is like, that's it. I've had enough of your blibber blabber. You're done. Telepathy all the way. Okay, so well, we did it to ourselves. Well, I should say I don't know what the people that are calling the shots are doing, but man, are they doing it really bad. Anyway, so set that intent. So when you go to bed and you're like, I want to remember my dreams, lady, then set the intent. Say, okay. And you can even tell yourself what you want to dream about. So I want to dream about blah 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 blah, and I want to dream about blah 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 blah. Please help me remember blah 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 in my blah 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 dream, please. Okay, so I mean, you could speak respectfully to yourself. We are part of the universe. It's a nice thing to do. So you can do that. You can program your sleep, okay? And then, keep a little journal next to your bed, blah, 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 blah. Okay, lady. Heard it all before. But asking for what you want before you go to bed is really important. For what you want, don't say, if I see that loser one more time, don't do that. Because you'll probably end up seeing that person in a worse light than you could have possibly imagined. So don't say things like that. Just say, I don't know who I just channeled, but that was hilarious. Okay, so so don't do that. Do the whole, I would like to experience, I would like to witness, I would like to blah, 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 blah. It is redundant, and I hate that it's a thing, but it is, it's part of the universal law that you focus on what you want. You focus on that stuff. And I know, oh God, do I know in this climate, I know that it is an excruciating task at this point in time. It's an excruciating task because you just want to tell everybody to shove their high vibing love and light crapola where the sun doesn't shine. I get it. I am right there with you. At the same time, as someone who has had to go through the things and witness the things and then fell off of like, okay, no more of this, I'm gonna focus on this stuff. You fell off the train, or I fell off the train, and then it popped back in again before it had flushed itself out of my system. So you don't fuck up the way I did. Stay diligent about it. Make sure that it's a nightly thing. And I know you're gonna have days where you're like, lady, I am unconscious before I hit the sheets. I get it. I do. So while you're zombieing your way to bed, be like, all right, peaceful, restful, undisturbed, sleepy boop times. Okay. All right. I think that should. Anything else? So also, like, releasing with grace and gratitude. If it's still a thing, conscious say, okay, if they pop into your head or you find yourself doing the things that you don't want to be doing, you're like, okay, I release this with grace and gratitude. I accept the lessons and I am free to move on with my life unattached from this energy. You might want to rewind the video and write that down, because if you say no or not, don't, any conjunction with no or not in it, it's going to backfire, because the universe doesn't hear don't and won't and shouldn't and no, not. Probably should check in with the word without, because I'm not sure. I can't give you a yay or a nay on the without, so just don't use it. So maybe you can investigate and figure it out. So yeah, rewind the video to what I just cultivated out of my gourd. And then, okay. Oosh. Okay, we got time. Woo! That was close. That was really, really close. Talk therapy. If you're regurgitating the same scenarios over and over and over again with this parasitic entity, you are going to perpetuate that narrative further on into your future. It doesn't have to be with the blah, 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 blah person. They will show up in a different mask. Okay, so don't. And yes, they will be wearing a mask because you are programming yourself through your verbiage into the future. I I know that people think, oh, that's a hocus pocus load of I don't butt plug banana boats, okay? That's hocus pocus for the future self. That is you. So it's a difficult pill to swallow that we've been lied to, that we've been conned out of our own energy, that we've been conned out of our own power, that we've been conned out of this, that, and the other thing. But the only way we're going to get through this is if we take the power back and become sovereign, independent beings that take full responsibility for our vessels rather than leaving it in some authoritate's hands who have been thoroughly programmed and instructed how to mislead us and call it well-being. Now, I'm not dogging therapists, okay? This is an institutionalized institution in which the institute has been instructed to institutionalize the rest of our brains, okay? The inmates are running the camps and they don't know it. How about that? Okay? The inmates are running the camps. That probably isn't going to go down much nicer. I don't know how else you want me to put it. Again, I don't have any beef with therapists. I'm just saying that, like, when it comes to healing, yes, it's good to get it out. Absolutely. But if you don't burn that bitch directly after, you're going to have some problems. You're going to have some repeats and you're going to have some issues that are not going to go resolved. Because no amount of speaking it into the existence that is your future is going to have some sort of miraculous outcome where even though you dodged that bullet back there now, the same bullet isn't gonna be like, hey, how you doing? How you been? No, that's still gonna happen. And I know it sucks, and I'm really sorry. And I wish it wasn't that way. I did not make this place. I did not design it, but I've lived here long enough to tell you that ain't it. So how does that register? How does that measure? Okay, so we know the brain puts out energy, okay? We know the heart puts out even more energy. Okay? You ready for the kick in the nuts or the gonads? I'm sorry. Gonads? Ready for the kick in the gonads? This is the rainbow bridge. Right here. That's why we're losing logos. I'm sorry. It's like the universe is like so sick and tired of listening to us. This is speak total bullshit nonsense ass backward. I mean, if you think about really how our logos plays out and how that gets interpreted by the rest of the ethos, it's like whiplash with a choker. Like a dog choker, not like a cute little like 13-year-old girl trying to send out some signal she does not fucking understand. No, I'm talking about like one of those pokey dog chokers that are still fucking legal in the US, where it's like digging into their skin as you're pulling tighter and tighter as they're like either trying to bark or like move. Okay? That's what we are doing to the ethos, to the universe. That's what we're doing to them. And they don't know how to freaking respond. Hence why everything's a fucking mess right now. They're like, instructions unclear, hydrate. It's just... Okay, so like, just... I don't know why that just came in. Okay. So, the the ethos is really tired of listening to our bogusness. So if we can help it out ourselves, help ourselves out a little bit so the ethos can respond accordingly, we can begin to kind of shift into an ease of life rather than a easy buddy. That would be more beneficial, I think. So just watch your logos, understand how you're doing it. Sound therapy is a good way to go to, because not only is it instructing your cells in your system to listen for that, but it's an energetic pattern that comes into the psyche, the telepathic, the primordial instincts that we already are existing with. And so we can begin to memorize those patterns. We can begin to seek them out and then identify and connect with more like that. And then teach yourself to tone. Teach yourself to tone. Now, I'm not saying it was just cut off your therapist and blah, 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 blah. Ask them about different modalities of moving forward other than just talking. And if you are talking, present some things that you want to produce in your life and then ask if you can talk about that. Say, can we direct this narrative into a space where I am creating a new, better life for myself? And if the therapist is uncomfortable with that, find a different therapist because they just want you in their office every week to get those pentacles in their bank account. Find a therapist that wants to get you out of therapy, not suck you in. Okay? So that's really important. I cannot stress that enough. Therapy should not be, I'm going to spend the rest of my life here. That's not any sort of healing. Because at what point are you going to have to admit to yourself that you can't be trusted with your own being? That's a terrifying thought. At least for me, that's a terrifying thought, that I can't be trusted with my own sovereignness. Yes, I have girlfriends I talk to when we bounce ideas off of each other. We're there for each other. We uplift, we support, blah, 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 blah. And I realize I am a extremely lucky bitch for that to even exist. I understand that. And my heart goes out to you because I spent many years with no one to talk to. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You just got to get there. Okay. And I'll do what I can where I can. And maybe I'll do a video on that. I have some other things to get to today. But yeah, I think that's it for the severing. Yeah. Okay. All right. Until next time.